We're waiting.
Guess what we're doing?
Tell them what we're doing.
We had a great idea. We said, hey, let's take the ferry over and get our stuff.
Well, the first great idea was, hey, let's go to Apia instead of PagoPago.
Well, that was probably a good idea.
It probably was, but the whole idea was we can take the ferry over to get our stuff when it arrives.
But we had no idea.
And so now we're waiting here. That's the line, not to get your tickets. We have tickets. It's to check in. We don't know what that means. But it's 6 o'clock now. The boat leaves at 10. We thought, what are we going to do for 4 hours? Now we know.
We're going to stand in line like everybody else.
We get it now.
Yeah.
And it's really nice and cool here.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 90. 100%.
That's the humidity.
No, it's 100% humidity.
Yeah.
We got our backpacks on.
Yeah.
With all our stuff.
Yeah.
We're picking up our stuff tomorrow, and then we'll come back, do this again in 24 hours, come back with all of our stuff so that we can fix MiG and go to Fiji.
Oh, it's going to be cool.
Not going to be cool. It's going to be cool, though. It's going to be cool in a different way.
Yeah, it will be. Let's hope.
Anyway, there we go. And it looks like it's probably going to rain.
Let's wait for the guys. We're standing there and we'll get wet. Just as wet from sweat than I would be in the rain.
Yeah, me too. Actually, the rain would feel good. All right. We'll keep you updated. We have worked our way up by probably illegally passing through this security checkpoint gate without being checked, rather than waiting out there with the mob. We decided that we would play dumb.
Which we do well.
It was easy because I'm with Norman. That was a good one.
Very good one.
So, yeah, this has been about an hour process so far, right? We did kind of push our way up into the line a little bit, and then we worked our way up to here, and we really don't know what we're doing, so we really can play dumb without lying. It is really hot. We wish we'd have brought those little hand fan things. Some people have those, and we wish we had those. So we're going to check out the boat here in a few. By the way, MiG is just right over there, right across the way there. You probably can't see it, but MiG is right over there. Norman, where we go? I don't know where we go. Where do we go? Just get on the ferry right here. Wow. Hello. This is the boat. How you doing? Where do we go?
Guess what we found?
We found the air conditioned room.
Yeah, we did.
They're not all air conditioned.
We were standing down at the bottom there when we checked in our last little papers. The guy says, "You want some aircon?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Follow me." I followed him all the way here.
So,
God.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Can't see anything, but we don't need to see anything.
We got nice cushy chairs, better.
We've pretty much seen everything there is to see on the ocean in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
From a little closer.
We don't need to see it.
We don't need to look at the view.
No, we do not.
Well, plus we're going to see it again next week when we leave on our little boat.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're hoping that all our stuff is going to be at the post office like it's supposed to be. That's the next big question. Is it all going to be there?
And then if it's there, getting it back is going to be
Yeah. Trying not to have to pay a ton to get through customs. Show them that we're going on a boat. It's on a boat.
especially if we're fighting that crowd like we just did with all that stuff. Oh my God. That is not going to be fun. We'll be there way early.
We'll do it.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
We're here for another 10 hours.
10 hours of riding in here. It's not so bad. It's just like a airplane flight from here to Los Angeles.
Yeah, we got lots of leg room in front of us.
It's late at night, and everybody's asleep except for us. And the floor is now getting wet because there's water coming in. So now pretty soon everybody's going to be up sitting in seats. Let me show you. It's the next morning. Rough night. For some reason, T-Mobile isn't working at all here, which we don't understand why, since we're in the U.S. now. But we're about to go see if our stuff is at the post office. We got to go through customs and all that stuff here first, and then we'll be heading to the post office, and then we ought to do all this in reverse going back. Now they just wearing masks and everything, checked our temperature, took our health thing. Still in lines. Where are we at? Finally made it to the post office in American Samoa, and we're really crossing our fingers that our stuff is all here. And then we got to figure out the rest of the day
With all our stuff.
We're hopeful. So at this point, my phone ran out of battery, and because it was the plug on it on the Ferry was for 220 outlets, I didn't have an adapter to charge my phone, so I had no way of continuing to film once we got on our way back. But so I'm going to tell you now what happened. So when we got to the post office in American Samoa, we had no trouble waiting in line. We got there just in time to be almost first in line, which didn't stay that way very long. But then when we got up to the lady at the post office, it's a U.S. post office in American Samoa, and all of our stuff we had been told was there, and she didn't ask us for tracking numbers. I was trying to give them to her, but she just said, "Oh, I'll just go back and look." And so when she went back there, we could see in the back, and there were just piles of packages. There was no real organization to how it was set up or anything, which was really kind of disconcerting. And she spent probably a half hour, 45 minutes back there, and she came up and said she couldn't find any of the packages. And we're like, oh no, we're gonna have to figure out how to stay here for a week, because the ferry only goes on Thursdays, or try and do it again, which we definitely did not want to do. And so she then took our tracking numbers to verify that the packages were there, and she said, well, yeah, they're here somewhere. I'll go back and look again. So she went back out and disappeared for another probably 20 minutes or so, and she came back with 2 of the packages. the rigging and the Starlink. And she said, the other one's not here. And that was our generator. And we're like, okay, so here's the situation. We told her we can't, if we can't get it today, we have to stay here and figure out a way to spend a week here because we're in American Samoa, or in Apia, Western Samoa. And the ferry only runs on Thursdays. We told her the whole situation. And so she said, I'll go back and look again. And she was very nice, like super nice. And she did. She went back, and another half hour or so, she came out and said, I found it. And so then we had all of the items we needed. And as we left, you have to go through American Samoa Customs right at the post office. Anything that comes in, you have to pay customs on, even if you're an American. But since we were not there and we were going to Apia, they were really nice, and they didn't charge us anything. They just recorded that we had it. And so then we kind of consolidated everything, all the Starlink, into one box, smaller box. And then the rigging, strapped it onto my backpack. And so then we had to go back and get in line again to go through everything that we went through. You got to go through checking out now of American Samoa. So when we got to American Samoa, we had to check into American Samoa as though we were coming into a new country, which we were. And now we had to clear out of American Samoa to get back on the ferry to go to Apia. Sorry about that. And then in Apia, of course, when we got there, we had to check into Apia. So the whole wait in the line thing was another big, long thing. We basically had just enough time to get our stuff, get through, checked in to American Samoa, get to the post office, get all of our stuff, go straight back across the street and wait in line again to get on the ferry back to Apia. And that was a whole thing. We had to check in again, which we bought the tickets. We had the tickets. We were cleared in, but we had to check in. And they had to check our passports and all this stuff that they didn't tell us. And it was all just, there was no rhyme or reason to any of the way any of it was working. And if you didn't know, what they were doing, it was so hard for us to figure it out. And finally we got on the ferry going back. The ferry ride back was much better because it was downwind. The ferry ride to American Samoa was against the wind, and everybody was seasick and puking, and it was just gross. It was terrible. And it was leaking water. That picture didn't really show how much water was coming in, but everybody was sleeping on the floor, and as soon as the water started coming in through that watertight door, then everybody had to get up, and they were all wet. And anyway, when we got back to to Apia, Western Samoa, back to MIG, we had to go through customs again, and that guy was super nice, and they didn't charge us anything for all of this very expensive stuff that we were bringing in. We pointed to the boat, it was right there, and we gave the guy our card and told him about our YouTube channel, and he checked on it right there while we were going through, and was super nice. And so then we had all our stuff, and we had to now install everything that we had just got. So the box that holds our generator, as you can see, I had to cut it down a little bit so that it would fit on there a little better. The other one was just a little bit smaller, and this worked really well. We had to put a new hole in it where the on-off switch would be for the generator. And then we got all of the stuff to hook our Starlink up to our 48-volt bank. That was another thing that came in. So since we had to replace our Starlink anyway, we went ahead and got the high-speed mobile dish, which was more expensive, but we thought, since we were having so much trouble connecting and whatnot offshore, that this would be worth it since we were doing a full circumnavigation. And so we had to modify the mounting system. This mounting piece came with the Starlink, and we mounted it to the bottom part of my star mount system that I already had the other one in before.
Well, I guess I better drill the hole bigger since I got the drill out. I got more on.
People are gonna love how you're drilling right towards your leg. It looks from here like you're just drilling right into your leg. They'll start screaming.
Look.
Guess I could get the vacuum. Let me get the vacuum. Yeah, we're only doing 4.
Alright, now let's focus. Somewhere there's the hole. Tough. Hold that. I'll hold this. Hold the bottom up.
Oh, I need the screwdriver. Oh, there's some wind. There we go. Next.
So in case you're wondering why we mounted this the way that we did to the former Starlink mount, that star mount system's mount was really great. It's easy, it just locks in and 2 bolts hold it in on the other side. And we had already set that up to fit on the back of the solar panels sticking out of the back of the boat. So by doing it this way, it made it very easy to convert that mount basically into one for this new larger Starlink dish. Now, it's also easy for me to get off. I can still take the whole thing off by undoing 2 bolts and lifting it off and then unplugging it.
Hey, here's the Starlink. Go on there. Go on here. This. Oh boy. Let's see it. Okay, there's one.
We'll tighten it up a little.
So here's the new Starlink dish mounted up there. We ran the wire, of course, down through the whole thing like we did it before, but it clears the solar panels completely, so it's not in the way of any of it's not throwing a shadow on any of the solar panels, and now it has a clear view of the sky at all times, so we don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to connect offshore, and since it's the high-speed dish, it is always following. Now, part of the problem with this dish that people don't want to use on boats is it uses more power, but we hooked it directly into our 48-volt bank on a switch, thanks to Richard, our friend.
and it works amazing. It only draws an amp and a half at 48 volts.